Max the Brave Little Mouse. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village, there lived a mouse named Max. Max was small, even for a mouse, but he had a big heart. One day, Max was playing in the fields near his home. He saw a group of mice moving away. They looked sad. Max ran up to them and asked, "Why are you leaving?" "We have to find a new home," said one mouse. "Our home is gone. A big tree fell on it." Max felt sad for them. He wanted to help. "I will find you a new home," he said bravely. The other mice smiled. They were happy to have Max with them. Max felt proud. He could help his new friends. They walked for a long time. The sun was hot. Max was small, so he felt tired. But he did not give up. He wanted to be brave. They came to a big river. It was wide and fast. The mice did not know how to cross it. Max looked around. He saw some sticks and leaves. He had an idea. "Let's build a raft," Max said. The mice worked together. They used the sticks and leaves to make a raft. Max helped the most. He was small, but he was strong. They put the raft in the water. It floated. The mice were happy. They crossed the river safely. Max was glad his idea worked. After the river, they came to a dark forest. It was scary. The mice were afraid. Max was afraid too, but he remembered he was helping his friends. He needed to be brave. "We will go through the forest together," Max said. "We will stay close." They walked into the forest. It was quiet, too quiet. Suddenly, an owl hooted. The mice stopped. They were scared. Max looked up. "It's just an owl," Max said. "We are okay." They kept walking. Max stayed in front. He was leading his friends. They trusted him. Suddenly, they heard a loud noise. It was a fox. The fox was big and looked hungry. The mice were very scared. Max thought fast. He remembered a hole they had passed. "Follow me!" he shouted. Max led the mice back to the hole. They all squeezed in. The fox tried to follow, but couldn't fit. It growled and sniffed around. The mice stayed quiet. They were very still. After a while, the fox left. The mice sighed with relief. Max had saved them again. They continued through the forest. Soon they saw light. It was the end of the forest. The mice were happy. They ran to the light. Max ran with them. They had made it through the forest. On the other side of the forest, they found a beautiful field. There were flowers and trees. It was perfect. "This can be our new home," Max said. The mice looked around. They liked it. There was water nearby. There was food. It was safe. But just as they started to relax, they heard a sound. It was a cat. The cat lived near the field and didn't want the mice there. "We need to scare the cat away," Max said. He had another idea. Max found some old cans and strings. He set them up around the field. When the cat came close, Max pulled the string. The cans made a loud noise. The cat was scared. It ran away fast. The mice cheered for Max. His plan had worked. Now they could finally settle down. They started to build their new homes. Max helped. He was good at finding things they could use. They worked all day. By evening, they had built little homes for each mouse family. They were tired, but happy. That night, they had a party. They celebrated their new home. They thanked Max. Max felt warm inside. He was happy he could help. As the stars came out, Max looked up. He thought about the day. He had been brave. He had helped his friends. He was proud. But the next morning, Max and his friends saw something troubling. A big black crow was circling above their new field. The mice were scared again. Crows like to catch mice. Max knew he had to act fast. He gathered shiny things from around the field and placed them where the crow could see them. Crows also liked shiny things. When the crow saw the shiny objects, it swooped down to take a look. Max and the other mice hid. The crow picked up the shiny things and flew away. It seemed happy with its find. Max had saved the day once more. The mice were safe again. They really admired Max now. He was not just brave, he was smart too. From that day on, life in the new field was peaceful. The mice lived without fear. They knew Max was there to protect them. And Max, the small, brave mouse, lived happily ever after in his new home, always ready to help and always brave. The end.
Daisy and Snowball in a windy rescue mission. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house on the edge of a vast forest, there lived a little girl named Daisy and her fluffy white bunny, Snowball. They were the best of friends and loved to explore the wonders of the green woods that stretched behind Daisy's house. One sunny morning, after finishing their breakfast, Daisy tied her shoelaces, put on her favorite pink hat, and said, "Come on, Snowball, let's go on an adventure." Snowball, excited, hopped alongside as they ventured into the woods. The forest was alive with the sounds of birds singing and the gentle rustling of leaves. A gentle breeze began to blow, making the trees sway lightly. Daisy stopped and listened. The wind seemed to carry a message. "Listen, Snowball," Daisy whispered, holding her bunny close. "The wind is talking to us." Snowball twitched his nose, sensing the cool air brushing against his fur. The breeze seemed to whisper softly, saying, "Help, help." Intrigued, Daisy asked, "Did you hear that, Snowball? Someone needs our help. Let's find out who it is." With determination, they followed the whispers of the wind, which led them deeper into the forest. The trees seemed to lean in and guide them on their path. Eventually, they stumbled upon a tiny baby bird standing on the grass, looking lost. It looked very young, chirping weakly as it searched for its mother. "Oh no, Snowball! This little bird is lost and can't find its way back home," Daisy exclaimed, gently stroking the bird with one finger. The baby chirped a little louder, seeming comforted by Daisy's touch. They looked around but saw no sign of a nest nearby. "We need to find where you belong," Daisy said thoughtfully. "Don't worry, little bird. We'll help you." Just then, the wind blew again, whispering, "Climb, climb." Daisy looked up and spotted a nest tucked high up in the branches of a nearby tree. "There! That must be your home," she said. The nest was too high for Daisy to reach from the ground. "We need to climb up there," she decided. "It's going to be a bit tricky, but we can do it, right, Snowball?" Snowball looked up at the tree and back at Daisy, showing his support with a determined hop. Daisy approached the tree, looking for footholds. It was a large oak with plenty of sturdy branches. She started climbing, feeling the rough bark against her hands. Snowball watched anxiously from below. As Daisy climbed higher, she could see the forest stretching out around them. The wind continued to blow gently, encouraging her with its soft whispers. Finally, she reached the nest. It was woven from twigs and leaves, a perfect cradle for the baby bird. Carefully, Daisy placed the baby bird back into its nest. The little bird snuggled into the familiar surroundings and chirped happily. Daisy felt a wave of relief and pride. "You're safe now," she whispered. Climbing down was easier, and soon Daisy was back on the ground. Snowball hopped around her excitedly. "We did it!" Daisy cheered, hugging her bunny. "We brought the baby bird home!" They started their walk back to Daisy's house, the forest seeming even more alive now, with the wind continuing to whisper around them. This time, it sounded like a joyful, "Thank you, thank you." "The forest is thanking us, Snowball," Daisy said, feeling a deep sense of happiness. They emerged from the woods as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Daisy and Snowball sat on their porch, watching the day turn into night. They were tired, but filled with joy from their adventure. "Today was a great day," Daisy mused, sipping on her hot chocolate. "We had fun. We climbed a big tree, and we helped someone in need. We make a great team, Snowball." Snowball snuggled closer, his eyes closing slowly as he listened to Daisy's soft voice. "And tomorrow, who knows what adventures we'll have? But whatever happens, we'll be ready, right?" Daisy continued, feeling sleepy herself. Snowball twitched his nose in agreement, and the wind whispered once more, a gentle "always," fading into the quiet night. Daisy smiled, finished her hot chocolate, and picked up Snowball. "Let's get some sleep. We need to be rested for whatever comes next." With that, they went inside, ready for a peaceful night's sleep, dreaming of new adventures that awaited in the woods they loved so much. Good night.
The Rainbow Rail.
Once upon a time, in the quiet town of Sunnyside, there was a train unlike any other. It was known as the Rainbow Rail. This wasn't just any train. Its shimmering colors could brighten even the gloomiest day. But the Rainbow Rail had a secret. It only appeared after a rainstorm, and only when a rainbow shone in the sky. One rainy afternoon, as the clouds began to part, a little boy named Leo was playing in his backyard. He noticed the brilliant colors of a rainbow stretching across the sky. Just beneath it, to his astonishment, stood a radiant train with carriages in all colors of the rainbow. "Wow! The Rainbow Rail!" Leo exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. Without a second thought, Leo ran through his garden, climbed over the fence, and raced towards the train. As he approached, the conductor, a jolly old man with a silver beard, tipped his hat. "Welcome aboard the Rainbow Rail. I'm Conductor Bob. Are you ready for an adventure?" he asked with a smile. "Yes, sir," Leo shouted in excitement. As soon as he boarded, the train gave a gentle lurch and started moving along the vibrant tracks. The inside of the train was just as colorful as the outside, with seats of soft lavender, sky blue, and gentle green. "Where does this train go?" Leo asked curiously. "To wherever the rainbow touches," replied Conductor Bob, winking. "Every journey is unique." The train sped along, and as it did, it climbed higher into the sky, following the arc of the rainbow. Leo pressed his face against the cool glass of the window, watching in awe as his town became just a speck below him. As they reached the middle of the rainbow, the train suddenly shuddered. The sky darkened, and the vibrant colors of the rainbow started to fade. "Oh no!" Conductor Bob exclaimed. "The rainbow is losing its colors. Without them, we can't move forward. We might be stuck here." "Why are the colors fading?" Leo asked, worried. "It seems there's not enough joy and laughter in the world right now to keep the rainbow bright," Conductor Bob explained. "The rainbow rail runs on happiness." Leo looked around, determined to help. He remembered his favorite joke book that he had always carried in his backpack. "What if I tell some jokes and riddles? Maybe laughter can bring the colors back," he suggested. "That might just work," Conductor Bob said, his eyes twinkling with hope. Leo quickly pulled out his joke book and began reading aloud. "Why don't scientists trust atoms?" He paused for effect, then delivered the punchline. "Because they make up everything." His laughter was contagious, and soon Conductor Bob joined in with a hearty chuckle. Encouraged, Leo continued, "What do you get when you cross a snowman and a vampire?" He waited a beat. "Frostbite." The laughter that followed was even louder, filling the train carriage. As they shared jokes, the laughter began to resonate throughout the train, creating ripples of joy. Looking out the window, Leo and Conductor Bob noticed the colors outside slowly returning. The reds grew deeper, the blues more vibrant, and the yellows glowed warmly. Their shared laughter had indeed turned into the fuel that powered the rainbow rail, allowing it to continue its magical journey along the colorful arc in the sky. However, just as things were looking up, Leo noticed something alarming ahead. The colorful track seemed to have a break in the distance. "Conductor Bob, look!" He pointed anxiously. Conductor Bob squinted his eyes and let out a low whistle. "Oh dear, that hasn't happened in many moons. The rainbow's magic must be weaker than I thought. Without a complete track, we can't continue our journey. We might end up stuck between the clouds." Leo felt a surge of worry and then remembered the magic that had brought them this far. "What if we can fix it?" he suggested eagerly. "What if our joy and laughter could mend the break?" Determined, Leo gathered everyone on the train and suggested, "Let's all share our happiest memories with each other. Every memory is like a sparkle of joy that can help fix the rainbow. I'll go first." Leo shared a vivid memory of the day he'd learned to ride a bike without training wheels. "The wind was whooshing past me, and I felt like I was flying," he described with a gleam in his eye. The carriage filled with smiles and nods. Next, an elderly lady named Mrs. Thompson shared her memory of a surprise birthday party her grandchildren had thrown for her. They even baked a cake that looked like a giant sunflower, my favorite flower, she chuckled, her eyes twinkling with tears of joy. Her story brought laughter and a warm feeling to the group. A young couple, Sarah and Tom, took turns describing the day they adopted their mischievous puppy, who had since become a beloved member of the family. He jumped straight into a mud puddle and then into our laps, all on the very first day, Tom recounted, causing a burst of laughter to ripple through the carriage. Then, as the rainbow rail approached the gap, something remarkable happened. From the laughter and joyful stories, sparkles of light began to emit from the train, swirling around the broken track. The pieces of the rainbow track started to pull towards each other, slowly at first, then faster, as if magnetically attracted by the happiness aboard the train. The rainbow rail smoothly rolled over the newly mended track, continuing its magical journey. Conductor Bob patted Leo on the back, his eyes gleaming with pride. "Well done, Leo. You've not only saved our journey, but also reminded us all of the power of joy and community. This story will be told for generations." Finally, they reached the end of the rainbow, where a surprise awaited. A field full of treasures, not of gold, but of toys, books, and games for all the children. Conductor Bob smiled. "The true treasure at the end of a rainbow is the joy we bring to others," he said. "And you, Leo, have brought plenty." With their mission accomplished, it was time to return home. The train reversed along the now brightly lit rainbow, dropping Leo off in his backyard, just as the sun set. "Remember," Conductor Bob called out as he departed, "whenever you feel the world needs a little more color, spread joy and laughter, and think of the rainbow rail." Leo waved until the train disappeared with the last light of the day. He knew he would always remember his incredible journey on the rainbow rail, where he learned that happiness could indeed bring the world to life. From that day on, Leo found joy in every little thing and shared it generously with everyone around him, knowing that with a bit of happiness, you could always save the day. The end. In a faraway land, there were big mountains covered in soft white snow. Here lived Gideon, the gentle giant. Unlike the scary giants from the old stories, Gideon was as nice as a sunny morning and as gentle as the evening. Every day he took care of the huge wilderness around him. He made sure all was calm and peaceful. One cold evening, as the sun went down behind the snowy mountains, Gideon started his nightly routine. He loved this routine because it was for the animals and the land he cared about so much. First, Gideon went to the Great Lake. The water there sparkled under the sky, looking like a big shiny mirror. He filled his giant watering can from the lake's clear waters. Every night, he watered old trees and pretty flowers, talking to them in a deep, soothing voice, telling them to grow strong and lovely. After finishing at the lake, Gideon walked through the whispering woods. The trees were old and wise. They seemed to whisper stories. As he walked, Gideon listened to their tales, nodding and smiling. He also brushed off the snow from their branches. When the stars began to sparkle in the night sky, Gideon went to the meadows. The small forest animals were waiting for him. They knew Gideon had something special for them at bedtime. "Good evening, friends," Gideon said in a soft voice. "Good evening, Gideon," the rabbits chirped and the mice squeaked. The deer bowed their heads in greeting. Gideon smiled and pulled out handfuls of dream dust from his big pockets. This magical sand helped all living creatures fall into a peaceful sleep. He sprinkled it gently over the animals, who yawned happily, their eyes twinkling. "Sweet dreams, little ones," Gideon whispered as they snuggled into the soft underbrush or burrowed into the warm earth, quickly falling asleep. Then Gideon climbed to the higher slopes where it was cooler and the wind was stronger. Here the mountain goats and wild horses roamed. They too were waiting for their turn with the dream dust and Gideon's warm presence. After making sure these creatures were ready for a peaceful night, Gideon sat on his favorite big rock, looking over the valley. He took out a small, beautifully carved flute from his coat. As he played, the melody floated through the mountains like a lullaby for everyone. The music was soft and slow, echoing the night's calm rhythm. It was filled with Gideon's love and care, promising protection and peace. Far below, in the village at the base of the mountain, people paused their evening work to listen. The music comforted their hearts, reminding them that Gideon, their guardian, was watching over them. That night, however, Gideon's tune was a bit sad. The next day, builders from the city planned to start a road through the Whispering Woods. Gideon worried about the trees and the little animals living there. Determined to protect his friends, Gideon decided to visit the village. Putting aside his flute, he made his way down the mountain quietly, a skill he had mastered over many years. When he reached the village, Gideon knelt beside the house of the village elder, careful not to wake anyone. He tapped gently on the window with his finger. The leader, a kind woman named Elara, came to the window, surprised. "Gideon, what brings you here so late?" she asked quietly. "Hello, Elara," Gideon started, his voice as calm as a still lake. "I need to talk about the road you plan to build. It will hurt the woods and the little ones living there." Elara looked sad. "I didn't know," she admitted. "Tell me more, Gideon." So Gideon talked about the trees and the animals and how the road would disturb everything. He spoke until the stars began to fade and the first light of dawn colored the sky. Elara listened and promised, "We will find another way. I will talk to the builders. The woods will be safe." Relieved, Gideon nodded. "Thank you, Elara. Thank you for listening." Happy, Gideon returned to his mountain. That night, his flute music was joyful again. He kept playing every night, watching over the land he loved. The next day, Gideon decided to help the village understand why nature was so important. He spent the day collecting stories and treasures from nature, like colorful leaves, stones, and flowers. He planned to show them to the village children. That evening, after making sure the forest animals were asleep, Gideon took his collection to the village. He set up a display in the town square. The next morning, the villagers were curious about the display. The children loved the colorful leaves and stones. Elara taught the children about each of them. "These leaves are from the great cedar which protects our village," she explained. "These stones are from the river where the water sings." The children listened and learned. Seeing this, Gideon stepped out and said, "I have many more stories to share." From then on, every full moon, Gideon would bring new treasures and stories. He taught everyone about nature and how to care for it. The village grew smarter and kinder. The children learned to love the woods and often listened to Gideon, their giant friend. Every night, Gideon felt happy as he played his flute. The valley was safe and loved, all thanks to everyone who listened and learned. As the stars shone brightly, Gideon knew the peace he nurtured would last forever. The end.
Mia and Plushy. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Mia who lived in a cozy house near a village. She had a teddy bear named Plushy. They were best friends. Every day they would play together and explore the garden. Then, when the night fell, they would snuggle under the covers, and Mia would tell Plushy stories until they both drifted off to sleep. One sunny morning, as Mia and Plushy were finishing their breakfast, Mia's mom said, "Today is a very special day. It's the day of the great village festival. Everyone will be there. There will be games, sweets, and a big balloon for every child." Mia was very excited. "Can Plushy come too?" she asked. "Of course," her mum said. "The festival is more fun with your best friend." Mia put a bow tie on Plushy, and they went to the festival. The village was full of colors and sounds. There were flags and music. First, they played a ring toss game. Mia threw the rings with all her might, and with a little bit of luck, she won a beautiful, shiny marble. She put it in her pocket, promising to share it with Plushy later. Next, they visited the face-painting stall. Mia got a rainbow painted across her cheek, and Plushy a heart on his chest. They looked at each other and giggled, happy with their new looks. As the afternoon sun turned golden, they heard the announcement for the balloon release. "It's time," Mia said to Plushy, her eyes sparkling with excitement. They joined the other children, each one holding a string that was tied to a big, colorful balloon. "Ready, set, go!" shouted the mayor. And up, 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 the balloons soared into the sky, carrying everyone's wishes and dreams. Mia watched in wonder as her balloon, bright red like her favorite dress, floated higher and higher until it was just a tiny dot. After a while, Mia and Plushy were tired but happy. They walked home through a meadow. The sun was setting and the air smelled sweet. Suddenly, Mia stopped. She reached into her pocket for the shiny marble, but it wasn't there. "Oh no, Plushy! I've lost the marble we won," she said, her voice filled with sadness. Plushy looked up at her with his big button eyes. If he could talk, he would have told her not to worry, that they had each other, and that was the biggest prize of all. But instead, he just snuggled closer to her, offering comfort in his own way. Mia hugged Plushy tight. "You're right," she whispered. "As long as we're together, everything will be okay." With Plushy by her side, Mia felt a little better. They continued their walk home, enjoying the beauty of the meadow. And then something magical happened. A soft glow caught Mia's eye. It was the marble. It had rolled into a hollow and was now shining like a tiny star. Mia picked up the marble, her heart full of joy. "Look, Plushy, "We found it!" she exclaimed. Holding the marble up to the sky, it glittered in the last rays of the sun, more beautiful than ever. When they got home, the sky was filled with twilight colors. They were tired but filled with happy memories. After dinner, Mia prepared for bed, and as was their tradition, she snuggled under the covers with Plushy. She told him about their day again, adding magical details to the story, making Plushy the hero who had guided her back to the lost marble. As Mia's voice grew softer, Plushy seemed to whisper back about their dreams. They fell asleep peacefully. Outside, the stars twinkled in the night sky, watching over Mia and Plushy, forever guarding the bond of friendship and the magic of a day well spent. And in the heart of the village, the festival lights dimmed, promising more joy, more laughter, and more adventures for tomorrow. And so, our story ends. But for Mia and Plushy, it was just another beginning. For in the world of dreams and friendship, every day is a new adventure waiting to be discovered. Good night, Mia. Good night, Plushy. Good night to you, dear friend. May your dreams be sweet and your adventures many.
The Pillow of Dreams. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Ellie who lived in a small, cozy town surrounded by hills and woods. Ellie had a very special pillow given to her by her grandmother on her 7th birthday. This wasn't just any pillow. It was a magical pillow known as the Pillow of Dreams. Every night, when Ellie laid her head upon it, she would see beautiful, calming dreams of places far and near. One evening, as the sky turned dark, Ellie's mom called her to bed. "Time to visit your dream worlds, Ellie," her mom said as she fixed Ellie's pillow. She kissed Ellie goodnight, and Ellie settled into bed with a big smile. As soon as her head touched the pillow, the magic began. The first place the pillow showed her was a quiet beach. The gentle sound of waves lapping at the shore filled her ears, and the salty scent of the sea tickled her nose. Ellie imagined herself walking along the beach, her feet sinking into the warm, soft sand. The sun was setting in the sky, painting it with broad strokes of orange and pink. Seagulls flew overhead in lazy arcs, their calls mingling with the rhythm of the waves. A soothing breeze caressed Ellie's face, carrying with it the promise of nightfall. After a while, the scene slowly changed, and now Ellie found herself in a meadow full of wildflowers. The sky above was a deepening blue of early twilight, and fireflies began to light up around her, twinkling like little stars close to the earth. The air was filled with the sweet scents of lavender and jasmine, comforting and soft. Ellie wandered through the meadow, her hands brushing against the cool, dewy petals. In the distance, a deer with a soft-eyed fawn by her side grazed quietly. Ellie found a spot under a tall old tree and sat down, watching the gentle animals, her heart filled with peace. The meadow slowly faded into a gentle river flowing through a serene forest. The water was clear and sparkled under the silvery light of a full moon. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Ellie sat by the river bank, her toes touching the cool, smooth stones. Fishes glided slowly in the water, occasionally breaking the surface in a gentle splash. Frogs croaked a lullaby from their perches on lily pads, adding to the symphony of nighttime sounds that lulled Ellie deeper into calmness. From the river, the scene shifted, and Ellie found herself on a gentle hill, gazing up at a sky filled with stars. The stars twinkled and shimmered, each one a guardian of the night, watching over the world's dreams. Ellie lay back, her hands resting behind her head, and watched the vast, endless universe above. She felt a profound sense of belonging, small yet significant in the vast tapestry of life. The pillow then whisked Ellie away to a snowy landscape, where gentle snowflakes drifted lazily from the sky. Everything was quiet, the world wrapped in a soft white blanket of snow. In the distance, there was a cozy cabin with smoke rising from its chimney. Ellie imagined herself inside, sitting by a crackling fire, wrapped in a warm blanket. The scent of cinnamon and hot cocoa filled the air, and she felt a deep, comforting warmth that made her eyelids heavy with sleep. As the snowy scene lingered, Ellie's journey continued, and the pillow of dreams showed her a quaint village preparing for bedtime. Each house had lanterns lit with gentle, warm light, casting soft shadows on the cobblestone paths. Ellie walked through the village, her steps muffled by the snow. People waved from their windows, smiling as they closed the curtains for the night. The village was a scene from a peaceful storybook, where every creature, big and small, was settling down for a dream-filled sleep. Finally, the pillow took Ellie to an enchanted forest filled with ancient trees adorned with lights, like a celebration of night itself. Fireflies danced around her and soft music played, a melody that seemed like it was made by the leaves and the wind. Ellie wandered through the forest, her heart light and joyful. She found a soft, moss-covered spot beneath an old oak tree and lay down, looking up at the light-filtering leaves above. The enchanted forest slowly faded as Ellie's eyelids grew heavier. With one last yawn, Ellie allowed the dreams to dissolve gently, leaving her in the peaceful embrace of deep, restful sleep. The next morning, Ellie woke up feeling refreshed and happy, her spirit light and her mind filled with beautiful images from her dreams. She hugged her pillow of dreams, grateful for the wonderful journey it had given her. And so, night after night, Ellie looked forward to bedtime, where her magical pillow waited to whisk her away to new, beautiful places. Each dream was a gentle lullaby, and each morning she woke up feeling loved, rested, and ready to embrace the new day, carrying a piece of her dreams in her heart.
The Dream Baker. In a small village surrounded by green hills and gentle streams, there was a little bakery called the Dream Baker. This bakery was different because it stayed open very late. The baker was Mr. Potts. He was an old man with twinkly eyes, and he always had flour on his glasses. Each night, when it got dark and the village was quiet, he would start making his magic cookies. At 9 o'clock, when the children in the village were snug in bed, they would dream of going to Mr. Potts's bakery. The bakery smelled like delicious cookies, and Mr. Potts would say with a smile, "Good evening, dreamers. Pick any cookie you like, and it will take you to a wonderful dream." One night, a boy named Tommy, who had messy brown hair, dreamed of the bakery. He saw cookies shaped like stars, hearts, and clouds. Mr. Potts asked him, "What kind of dream would you like tonight, Tommy?" Tommy said excitedly, "I want to go to a world made all of candy." Mr. Potts gave him a star-shaped cookie with sugar that sparkled. "This will take you to Candyland. Enjoy your adventure." Tommy ate the cookie and saw many colors around him. He found himself in front of a huge gate made of candy canes. Inside, there were rivers made of chocolate and bushes full of gumdrops. The trees had candy fruits, and the clouds were marshmallows floating in a cotton candy sky. Tommy explored this tasty world, trying different candies. He even rode a boat down a chocolate river, laughing as he passed under a bridge made of cookies. When Tommy woke up, he was very happy. He couldn't wait to tell his friends about his dream, hoping they would visit magical places in their dreams too. The next night, it was Lucy's turn. She was a joyful girl with bouncy curls. She chose a heart-shaped cookie covered in pink sugar. "Where will this cookie take me?" Lucy asked. "To the land of marshmallow clouds," Mr. Potts answered with a wink. Lucy bit the cookie and was wrapped in a pink mist. She found herself floating in a sky where every cloud was a soft marshmallow. She bounced from one cloud to another, each puffing out sweet mist. She made friends with flying cotton candy birds and had a joyful time playing in the clouds. When she woke up, Lucy felt as if she had been sleeping in the softest, warmest blanket. She smiled all day, remembering her fluffy cloud adventure. Every night, different children visited Mr. Potts's dream bakery in their dreams. Each one chose a cookie and went on sweet adventures. One snowy evening, Mr. Potts made very special cookies that shone with their own light. He called them Dream Together Cookies. He told the kids, "Pick one, share it with a friend, and you'll both have the same dream." Tommy and Lucy decided to share a moon-shaped cookie. They took a bite together, and the familiar swirl of colors wrapped around them. They found themselves on a magical flying carpet. Together, they soared over beautiful twilight landscapes, exploring castles made of ice cream and watching fireworks of sparkling sugar. They wandered through enchanted forests where trees whispered bedtime stories and rivers hummed lullabies. As dawn approached, their magical carpet gently landed back at the Dream Bakery. With hearts filled with joy and heads full of wonderful tales, Tommy and Lucy waved goodbye to Mr. Potts, promising to come back soon. In the real world, the children woke up with faces beaming with joy from their shared adventure. They rushed to meet each other, eager to talk about every moment of their dream. Sharing the dream had made it twice as fun, and they knew that together they could explore even more dream worlds in the nights to come. Mr. Potts continued to watch over the village, his bakery a light of warmth and joy in the dream world. As long as there were children who believed in the magic of dreams, his doors would stay open, welcoming them to a realm where every cookie promised a new adventure filled with sweetness and wonder. And so, in the heart of that cozy village, the legend of the Dream Baker grew, weaving through the dreams of every child, inviting them to believe in magic, one dream cookie at a time. Good night and sweet dreams.